All right, good morning, everybody. Today we're going to look at the causes of World War I. Now, this PowerPoint is going to be a little bit longer than we're used to. Just try to do it all at once, so you can give you a couple days to look at it as we move forward. All right, so when we're looking at the causes of World War I, we can remember that with one word, okay, mania. Okay, that's what we're going to go through what each one of those letters stands for. In reading some of your comments. We're going to get to this last one, the assassination of the Archduke. We're going to talk about how all this other stuff kind of ties in together and leads to World War I. All right, so the first cause is militarism. Militarism is the policy of building up a strong military to be prepared for war. All right, so this really starts with the British Navy and the German military, and this competition to build up and increase your military strength, whether that's through an army or through a navy. So how does militarism lead to war? Okay, well, you have an arms race developed between nations. So what is an arms race? A competition between nations to develop and accumulate weapons. So if Britain has 100 ships in their navy, Germany wants to have 105. And then Britain's like, well, wait a second, if you have 105, well, we need 110. And it's just constant competition to expand upon your military. Heightened national security as a result. Well, why do you have all these weapons? If you have weapons, you want to use the weapons for some sort of reason. And citizens are ready and willing to fight for their country. So they're developing this pride in their military. As I mentioned, there's the shipbuilding arms race between the British and the Germans. All right, all about their navy. Germany developed the Schlieffen Plan. We'll talk about the Schlieffen Plan, in a few days. But the Schlieffen Plan is their military plan in the event that they had to fight a two-front war. One of the questions from your homework quiz, I believe, is what alliance would Germany be the most fearful of? And that would be an alliance between France and Russia, because if that were to happen, they could be attacked from both sides. So the Schlieffen Plan is their plan to prevent that from happening. Okay, all European cultures are going to start to glorify war. There is a book/movie, All Quiet on the Western Front, and imagine you're sitting in your class, you're 15, 16 years old, and all you hear about is how wonderful it is to fight in war and how you should be proud to join your country to fight in war. All right, that's what you hear in class. And then when you graduate high school, you're expected to sign up for the military. Not go to college, join the military, fight for your country. The second one in mania is alliance, the A. Definition: an agreement between nations to provide aid and protect one another. We're going to talk about two different types of alliances today. How do alliances work towards war? European powers formed rival alliances to protect themselves and increase national security. So if you're in France and you see that Germany is developing this friendship with Austria-Hungary, you're thinking, if you're French, you're thinking to yourself, well, we need somebody on our side just in case. So as these alliances start to form, a small event could bring all these different European countries into a conflict. So the first one we have, and that's a little grainy, I'm sorry, is the Triple Alliance. Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy. Okay? Notice where they're located. They're in the middle of Europe. All right? They promised to defend one another in the event that one of the other countries is attacked. Now this is important. Promise to defend each other if another one is attacked. Okay? If you're the aggressor, that doesn't mean that these countries might necessarily help you. Okay? So this is what the map looks like, 1839, 1914. The second alliance that's formed is called the Triple Entente. Remember, I mentioned there was two different types of alliance. There's an alliance and there's an entente. So the Triple Entente is Britain, it's France, and it's Russia. Okay? Notice where they're located compared to the Triple Alliance. Now, the Triple Entente, what their pledge to one another is, we promise not to go to war with you. We're not going to fight you. there's no guarantee that we're going to help you either, but we're not going to fight you. All right? Britain really wants to stay out of this. Okay, as an island nation, they want to stay away from what's going on in mainland Europe. They want to be isolated. Stay away. Okay, we have another alliance, a smaller alliance, but a very important alliance. Okay, the Slavic Unity Russia Pact. Okay, Russia pledges to support and protect Serbia. Okay, this map doesn't really do us justice, but Serbia is down here. Big Russia will protect little Serbia in the event that Serbia needs help. Now, the one thing with Russia is throughout history, most of the times when they have these agreements in place, a lot of times they never come through. All right, so we got to watch what Russia's going to do as this all unfolds. The third cause, nationalism. We've talked about nationalism since October. Okay, pride and devotion for your nation or a desire for independence. So in this case, we're talking about pride in your country. Nationalism promotes the following ideas. People with the same ethnic origin, the same language, and the same political ideas should have the right to form their own state. Okay, so how is it going to work towards war? Okay, territorial disputes. If I am French speaking and I live in a region that's controlled by Germany, what country do I want to be a part of? I probably want to be a part of France. All right, I want to be like with people that are like me. Many ethnic groups will incite revolution in order to achieve independence. So there's going to be these small revolutions that are happening throughout much of Europe. Most of those revolutions, I'm going to go back for a second, are going to happen in this area down here. Okay? Newly created nations want to assert their power and gain more land. Right? More land. Look how powerful we are. Look, this is what we're doing for our people. We want to gain more land. Okay? And declining empires want to hold on to what they do have. So one of those declining empires at this time is the Ottoman Empire, present-day Turkey. The old dying man of Europe is what they call it. So how does nationalism lead to war? Oh. Okay, Germany and France had a territorial dispute over the states of Alsace and Lorraine. Okay, right here, right between the two countries. This was controlled by the French. They lost it to Bismarck. Okay, back in the 1800s. Germany wants to keep it. France wants it back. The people who are living there, they would like to be a part of France. Okay, Austria-Hungary and Serbia had a territorial dispute over the states of Bosnia and Herzegovina. Again, in that southeastern part of Europe, the Balkan region. Bosnia and Herzegovina were home to many Serbs. It's an ethnic group. And Austria-Hungary controlled the state, but the Serbs felt the land should be given to them because that's their people there. Okay, so you just see down here, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Sarajevo. Okay, this is going to be a pretty monumental place. Maybe you have all these different small countries that are trying to form their own identity. Okay, the Balkan region. Talk about it. I'm gonna skip through this one. I'll post it, but I'm gonna skip through it just for time reasons. I don't want this PowerPoint to go too long, so I'm gonna skip over this one. But the Ottoman Empire, this Balkan region, is where this nationalism is going to really play a big role in what we're looking at. Okay, the powder keg of Europe. Okay, you saw that in your textbook. Nationalism and ongoing territorial disputes led to tensions and rivalries in the Balkan region, and many European nations are involved. So again, you have these smaller countries down here that have aligned themselves with these larger countries like Russia and France and Germany. All right, imperialism. Talked about this for a long time. The policy of conquering overseas territories to build an empire could be for political, social, or economic gains. So how does imperialism work towards war? Okay. We talked at length, and we were doing Africa, about how all these different countries went to Africa, but they never really fought one another. But there was constant tension between the different countries about who should get what land. Okay, so your competition for overseas territories is going to fuel tensions and fuel the rivalries in these different places. Okay, there's going to be small conflicts that are going to occur over colonial claims. But most of the time, it's not going to be, for example, Britain fighting Germany. It's going to be the people that they control fighting one another on their behalf. They call it a proxy war. Okay, an example that we haven't talked about, but it's kind of important, is the Moroccan crisis. So Britain, as a sign of goodwill, had given their colony of Morocco to France. But Morocco wants their own independence. So Germany steps in and says, hey, Morocco, listen, we'll help you out here. We'll give you what you need to fight against the French. Okay? So the Germans give them aid for this fight with France. But all the Germans want to do is take the land for themselves. Okay, so if the people of Morocco could get the French out, then the Germans could come in and take it over without ever having to fight the French. Okay, so there's this, it never really happens, but there's this constant tension now between France and Germany over land. Okay, we already have it with nationalism with Alsace-Lorraine. Now we have it with imperialism in Africa, okay, with Morocco. Now we got the spark. So some of you had mentioned in your comments that, yeah, Princip was an important person, but other people did more, right? And there was other things behind the scenes that led to World War I besides the actions of Gavril Princip. So we have these underlying causes that go back, okay, 30, 40, 50 years. We have these alliances being formed. We have this national pride being created and built upon in all these countries. We had countries going overseas to take over land and competing over land claims. We had these militaries being built up. Okay, so all these things are going to play a role. And then you have to ask yourself, does World War I ever happen if not for this next piece? Okay, so you have the four main causes: militarism, alliances, imperialism, and nationalism. Then you have the spark that sets off and ignites this whole thing. The assassination of the Archduke Franz Ferdinand, okay, of Austria-Hungary. Okay, he's assassinated by Gavril Princip, 19-year-old young man from Serbia. Okay, he is a Serbian nationalist. He is a member of the Black Hand. Get my dogs here. So the Black Hand is a Serbian nationalist group whose aim was to establish a pan-Slavic state that they were going to call Yugoslavia. So this is something else that's been building and building and building. So there's our Archduke, great mustache, Gavril Princip, the 19-year-old kid, right, who was going to ignite this feud. So here it is. Heir to Austria's throne is slain with his wife by a Bosnian youth to avenge the seizure of his country. Okay, this is the picture that was taken right after the assassination occurred. So I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna post the video for you to watch on like this whole thing, but I kind of like to tell the story of what happened. So the Archduke is going to go to Bosnia, and he is going to go there in support of the people who live there. Even though his government, that's ruled by his uncle, is kind of looked at as unfair to the people that live in Bosnia-Herzegovina and Sarajevo, he wants to go there and kind of say, like, look, I identify with you, and I'm going to make our relationship better. So him and his wife, who's pregnant, are going to go there and visit with the people. And when world leaders, okay, go to these cities, a lot of times they'll take like a parade. So in the newspaper, in the local newspaper, the parade route is mapped out, which would make sense. This is what's happening. This is where he's going to be, so you can get to see him, get a spot on the street, and you can see him. So the Black Hand, there's 6 guys that are going to be a part of this, all armed with different types of weapons, and they're there's 6 of them, so one of them's going to have an opportunity to kill the guy, right? So that's what they're going to try to do. So the day of the event comes, the parade's going on, the first assassin standing on the side of the road, and the car drives by. Now the car is an open car, convertible. Goes by, does nothing. The next guy, he throws a grenade. Takes the pin out of the grenade, throws the grenade, and the grenade lands on the ground and explodes. But the guy who threw the grenade forgot that there was, a little window before the explosion would occur. So when an explosion occurred, the Archduke had already driven by. It was the car behind him that was affected. So after he throws the grenade, he runs. He runs away, and he jumps into the river because he's going to either drown himself or he's going to die because he's going to take a cyanide pill. He takes the pill, and the pill had worn off. Jumps to the river and drowned, but the river was only about 3 or 4 inches deep, so he doesn't even drown. So they get him, they apprehend him, they arrest him, they take him for questioning. So they hear the explosion, all these other assassins, and they see the car go by because the Archduke continues on the parade, and nobody acts. So it's kind of like now they're all kind of gathered together. They're worried, like, is he going to talk? Is he going to give our names up? What's going to happen to us? So Gavril Princip leaves the group, and he goes into a deli. He's going to have lunch now. And he comes out of the deli, and the Archduke had gone to the event that he was going to attend, and now that event is over and he's berated the mayor of Sarajevo and yelled at everybody, he's going to go meet with the people who are affected by this grenade. And so they go back on the same exact parade route. There's still some people gathered on the streets, and the driver of the car makes a wrong turn when going to the hospital. And he kind of reaches like a dead end. It's almost like it's a dead end, but there's all these buildings. So he has to turn around and go another way. And as he goes to reverse the car stalls. And it just so happens that where the car stalls is the same exact place that the deli is. So Princip is out of the deli. He's about 15 to 20 feet away from the Archduke. He's got a clear shot, and he fires 2 shots. One hits the Archduke's wife, Sophie. The other one hits the Archduke in the neck. Okay, Sophie's hit in the stomach. Remember, she's pregnant. So he's dying, right? He's dying. She's dying. And his famous last words, the Archduke's last words were, "Sophie, don't die. Live for our children." Okay, and she dies, and he dies. And what's going to happen now? Okay, so the murdering of the heir to the throne of Austria-Hungary, the Black Hand believed that they could force Austria-Hungary to surrender Bosnia-Herzegovina to Serbia. Austria-Hungary wasn't going to do that. In acquiring Bosnia-Herzegovina, the Serbian nationalists believed that they were one step closer to creating this empire that they want to have, this Serbian empire of Yugoslavia. The Black Hand used violence to achieve their political goals, therefore they are a terrorist group. Gavril Princip is a terrorist. Okay, this is looked at as the murder with 1 million victims. So the war doesn't start the next day. It's going to be a month of negotiating between Serbia, Austria-Hungary, Germany, and Russia. And Austria-Hungary goes to Germany and says, hey, listen, what should we do here? Germany says, basically Germany gives them a blank check and says, whatever you want to do, we got your back, we're here to help you. If you want to go to war, we're here to help. Russia is kind of like, all right, we'll help too. I remember if we go back to the beginning, I mentioned for militarism, Germany had this plan called the Schlieffen Plan. So they're ready to go. Germany is ready to go to war. And if Russia wants to be involved, and if France wants to be involved, then let's go, let's do it, okay? So what is going to be our end here? What is going to happen? So this is the 5 causes. Militarism, alliances, nationalism, imperialism, and then this assassination that sparks this whole thing to start. So again, if we look back at the question from the other day, who's the most important person? Yeah, Gabriel Princip is a nobody, right? But his actions lead to this, which for 100 years lead to different events that are going to take place down the road. Okay, thank you. Just keep checking what's going to be posted. Okay, I'm going to give you a day or two to watch this. There's going to be an assignment to go along with this, and then there's going to be a video to watch. So I'm probably going to give you 2 days or so to complete those tasks. Okay, again, if you have any questions, post them onto the question thread, or just send me an email or send me a message in Schoology, and I'll get back to you. Okay, keep up the great work.